You're welcome along to the Maroon and White pod. I'm delighted to be joined by Tuam Stars footballer Jamie Murphy to look at Jamie's career and I suppose as he continues on playing with Tuam as well. Um, First off, Jamie, you're still enjoying football as much as ever?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Definitely am. I just see last year we had a good all year. I'm still feeling fresh, and the young lads coming through is giving myself and Gary a new lift. When you see young blood coming in and what they can do, it's a big positive for us. So yeah, definitely still enjoying football. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
When you hear people say maybe in their latter years that young fellas give people a lease of life, is that something you're feeling?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah. If you don't have them coming through, you really feel the burden, like, and it kind of gets stale up there. And I think that's the thing that really puts people out of football. It gets stale. But when you have fresh blood coming through, lads, really good talent. Like you look at our semi final there, our two midfielders were under 19, with Shea and Jack Ryan. You know, we had young Mitchell at wing back, with a couple then coming off the bench. So yeah, it was brilliant. And they weren't found looking either. Like they were well able to hold their own coming up against a really big Mike Cullen midfield. Our own two young lads held their own up there. So yeah, it does give us a new lease of life.
When people say to you, is it still a challenge t to line out maybe at your age now, compared to when you started out? We're seeing it now across the country that people are beginning at club football to go into their 40s.
I think it is because people are looking after themselves a lot differently now. You can see it. I have friends that stopped playing football in their 30s. They're now running triathlons and doing these high rocks competitions and everything. So people are naturally just minding themselves better. Plus, you also have better coaching now in football. You've the help of nutritions, you have S&Cs. You've all these people are helping you. So if you're looking after yourself, of course, you're going to see players playing at their late 30s into their 40s. And plus, when you've young lads too coming through, it's very, a coach once told me before, if you're hanging around with these young lads and you're talking to them, you start feeling you're in your 20s again. You forget you're in your 40s. So it definitely does help, yeah.
How is it still playing, Jamie? Do you have to look after the body at certain stages? Maybe can you play all the league games or how are you approaching it now?
Yeah, it's funny. You talked to Dave. I played everything this year. I think I missed two challenges. I played all the league, all championship. I think my motto today at the start of the year was, I'm going full at it, and if something goes, it goes. You know, if your back or your hamstring goes, then you have an excuse. But don't have an excuse of holding back. I don't. I think if players that hold back come championship, you're going to be marking the likes of Sean Kelly or Liam Silk and these guys who don't hold back. So you have to go all at it and throw yourself in. And if something goes, then it goes, and that's it. You walk away from it. But lucky enough for me, nothing has gone yet, anyways.
Watching you on this year throughout the club championship, it's not like anything's changed in your game really. You're still playing 11, still tracking back, still doing everything you have done in the past.
Yeah, I have. I suppose as you get older, though, you do start minding yourself to young kids, so you don't be out. You're eating better. I've probably been living in HQ's ice baths for the last 2 months as well, so that has helped. And plus, you get to know your body a bit better. I'm a postman as well, so I'm constantly walking around, staying loose, and that has helped a lot. So yeah, it is challenging, but you do have to look after yourself and your mobility a lot more than the lads in their 20s or their late teens.
When people say to you, Jamie, that you're one of the best club footballers in Galway to ever play the game, how does it sit with you?
Oh, you know, not well. I don't see that side of it all. Like I don't. I just play like, and I think if we didn't have such a good group with Tuam Stars, and Gary O'Donnell would say the same. We wouldn't be going back. To be fair, like any coach that's coached this team, Mike Neal in there from Clare now, and Dave, they're coming back again. If they didn't see the group, how good we are, and what we can do, then they wouldn't be back. Like we were blessed with such a group of players. So yeah, I don't see that someone ever said that to me. It's water off duck's back. Like I just, you know yourself, you can be very good today. You're only as good as your last game. You could be very poor, and trust me, the daggers don't belong coming out then.
Where do you feel you are with Tuam Stars at the minute? Because you've been so close to getting back to a county final, particularly in the last 2 years against Mike Cullen, and it just really shows in the Galway Championship in particular the fine margins when you get to these county semi-finals.
I think we're very close. As I said, like we were 5 up against Mike Cullen. Should close it off. They brought it back, and then we went 2 up again, and we should have closed it. But I suppose that is the game today. You're never out of the game. You could be 6 down, and the game's not over. You're still in it. Obviously, Cook comes off the bench, he kicks some screamers, but we're not far off it. Especially whether we 4 or 5 in the under 20s. We've 1 or 2 now starting to play in college football, which will develop them too. But also, I see a lot of other clubs have come on. I watched James's last year against Mike Cullen, and I was very impressed with him. So I was. Ook Gerard, Dunmore. Like I think a lot of teams out there will fancy their chances. They'll look at Sawtail and they'll look at Corofin and probably come back a bit. Mike Cullen are going to lose a player or two this year from going travelling. So I think next year's championship, a lot of teams will be looking at it, kind of going, we can have a crack at this. So it'll be an interesting one to see.
Do you see a gap beginning to happen between the big four? Because obviously, I think this year throughout the championship there was a lot made of, I suppose, the same semi-finalists for the second year running.
No, I don't. I see that gap closing. Remember someone saying to me that when the new rules come in, they were saying this could really destroy the weaker teams if their full back line is poor, and say a weaker team comes up against Corofin and they'll blitz them within 20 minutes. But I haven't seen that this year. You look at Milltown there this year. Milltown should have beaten Corofin. Like James's should have beaten Mike Cullen. We were very lucky against Dunmore. Killallen brought us right down to the wire. Claregal brought us. I think I think it's okay. You look that it's the same four in the last 2 years, but outside of that, I think it's a lot tighter than people look at it. I know Kerfin gave Damore a right clipping, but Damore are a decent team. They're not that poor that scoreline showed them. Maybe the fact Gary knew them inside out. Gary Delaney knew Damore from managing them. He knew them inside out. But I think there's 5 or 6 teams next year, and it won't be the top four that can compete for next year.
I get the sense from what you're saying there, you've been impressed with the standard of the championship this year across the board.
Yeah, I have been. Yeah, yeah. It's brilliant. You're no one's ever out of the game. Like if you have someone that can kick a 2 pointer, be interested to see how Caltra will come on this year because they have some right good forwards that can kick points. So it's be interesting to see how they come up. But I think it's wide open. The championship this year has been good. The refs have ran it really well. Our standard referee in Galway has improved dramatically over the years. So yeah, I've been really impressed with it.
When people are talking about Tuam Stars in the last two semi-finals, and obviously some people might have feel they missed their chance, but it's not obviously something you think. What keeps this Tuam group coming back year after year?
I think it's probably the respect of each other. We've been together an awful long time. We are a close group. Um, I came in 02, but the bulk of the group came in 09, 010 are still there. And then since then they've been drip feeding in 2 and 3 constantly. So the culture, we kind of changed the culture in 09. Alan Flynn actually changed our culture. And we've been feeding that through all the young lads that have been coming through. So I just think I think we set out to win something a long time ago, and it's the respect for each other that we're not walking away from it. We're sticking together on it and see what happens.
What was that, I suppose, change of culture?
I suppose in the early years when I started, there was very little S&C done. There was a lot of 2-day beer sessions done. Lads were missing training and it was kind of accepted. And I suppose when Alan came in 09, He sowed a lot. Like he emphasized in the players that you run the culture. You know, it's up to you to call out players. If anyone's on a 2 day beer session, it's not on. If anyone's skipping the rest and see, it's not on. If anyone, because in the day it's the players that lose out on it. And once you enforce that to senior players, then anyone that comes through, we set the standard, and the standard's been kept since. So that's why we've been bouncing around a lot in the last four for a good while. So I think that Alan has a good bit to do with, and it's still there. The culture is still there. The senior players are still running it, and if you talk to Dave or Mike, they'll tell you the same. Like,
It, it must be much easier to come back and Jamie, is it, and commit, given the consistency levels of this team, even maybe since 19, you've been consistently there in the last four most years.
it is, yeah. You know, the standard's going to come back, and it's. I suppose when Gary retired from Galway, it was very easy for him to adapt to club because the standard was very high. So it wasn't like Gary was dropping the standard going from intercounty level to club. I suppose what we try and offer is that intercounty standard at club level. And if lads can buy into it, brilliant. Some lads can't buy into it, and it's just not for them. But to be fair, the group we've had now have bought into it, and we're pushing hard. Whether we get over the line or not next year, but I know all the lads will give it everything anyways, and most of the lads come back January, February fit enough anyways, so we'll be hitting the road fairly okay anyways.
How desperate are you for that Frank Fox medal?
Oh, it's yeah, it would be nice. You're not guaranteed it, um, but it would be. It'd be a nice finish to the career I've had. So be a nice way for the likes of Noel Henry and Dara and all these guys who've been slogging. It'd be lovely to send Gary off with one for his commitment to Tuam Stars. And it'd be also very important for the young lads to come through. That if I think feel if they can win one or two starting off, they'll win three or four of them by the time they finish. And it's just to get over that line for us, you know. And we are getting there. There's no such thing as bad luck around, and it's just we're not finishing games. We're in, like I said, we were five up this year against Mike Cullen without Brian Mannion and without Conor Atkin, you know, our
Mm.
captain and vice captain, two massive losses this year. So they'll be back next year. So we're hoping we can learn from the semi final this year. Learn from, we were in the league final this year against Corofin, managed to close that game out. So you're hoping these games will help the younger lads coming through. And the more these higher games they're playing, you hope it stands to them then.
Is that a strength or a positive in one sense, do you think? Like obviously in previous years Brian Mannion has been one of your main scorers in the championship. Conor Radigan has been up there with some of the top midfielders in the county, but that you were able to, I suppose, perform without them this year.
Yeah, they're like they're two. Like I said, Connor was our player of the year last year. He was our captain. Brian was our county player. And Brian would easily be our player of the year any year he wants to be. I think Brian. If he got a good run with Galway, we Galway's 13. But I think he's a fantastic footballer. But you're right, like our depth in our panel, like if we lost them two players 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we wouldn't have got out of the group, I'd say. And that's so you can see the depth in our players, like Ronan Collaran, who playing Galway under 20, under 22 years ago. He's coming off the bench for us. And Jack Rugan has come in, slotted in nicely. Luke Davin has improved a lot. Cormac McWhorter came back from Australia. Conor Heenan has stepped up. So a lot of these lads are stepping up and they're fitting in. But I said to you, if we lost Conor Atkin and Brian Mannion 2 years ago, we would have really struggled. And so it shows the depth in the panel is getting stronger.
I- As you talked about closing out those games in the semi-final, do you think that's mentally or what do you feel is
Possibly,
there a,
yeah. I think it's both. I think it is. It's like we have been working on it a lot. Um, it's both mentally, I think, and it's also experience. Experience of having the right players on the pitch at the right time. That'll come into it. experience of slowing down the game. We've been trying, like when you're 5 or 6 up, to kill time. Um, and as I said to you, if we can keep playing in these league finals, playing like Scarfin, Sutton finals, semi-finals, you would hope. We played Bridget's in a challenge before that, and we played really well down there. And I thought, we closed out that game well. So we are learning, but it's just getting a bit of the luck too, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Do you feel a pressure of getting to the county final as a target each
Uh,
year?
well, that's the pressure we put on ourselves, to be honest. Yeah. If we don't say it, but we all go back to win a county title. So if we don't win it, then that pressure's coming on ourselves. But there's no pressure coming from anyone else. There's no coming from the club or from the manager or anything. That's our expectations. We train to win it. Our lads will be at it 5 nights a week, so they're not training just to stay senior or just get out of the group. So if we don't win it, then yeah, it's a disappointment. It's another year lost for us.
If you do get over the line, Jamie, it'll almost be like a release valve, won't it?
That's the thing. I think if we got over it, I think in 19 we were that close. I think we would have won another one or two after that. Because the shackles are off, monkeys off your back, open up here now, and that happens a lot. Like it's like going playing a challenge match. You go play one of the top teams in the country, and there's no pressure. The shackles are off you go. And some lads play the best football of their lives. But then when they come into that county semi final, when they know, sometimes they tighten up, the younger lads, and they don't play as well as they should play. And that's the disappointment sometimes. You see the talent in these lads, and sometimes when they don't perform in the top games because they just get tightened from that pressure, it's disappointing. But yeah, if we do get over it, there'll be a big session in Tuam anyways, I can tell you that. There'll be no work on the Monday, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens in 26. There's nothing guaranteed. All you can do is go back. Just you have two options. You walk away, and you're definitely not going to win it, or you can go back and have a crack at it, and you have some chance.
At 19, you obviously, as you mentioned there, came very close against Kerfin,
Hmm.
the drawn game, and they pipped you after a replay. Obviously, 12, you knocked Kerfin out, and then Sawtell
So
defeat you.
yeah.
Do you think about that much?
When I was younger, I would. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I'm older, more experienced with kids. Not so much. The 11 final, it was our first final in a long time. It was a new team. Alan had come in. It was his third year. So we did well with Curfin. We were fantastic that year. 12, I said, Sawtill pipped us. I thought we were experienced enough to take Sawtill, but again, Sawtill is a serious team as well. Um, and then 15 as well, we ran Curfin really close in a replay. In the quarters, they went on to win the All Ireland. 19, we were very close. Obviously, the drawing game. 2 points up, 62 minutes gone. Should have closed it out. And then the two semi-finals are very close the last 2 years. So I used to think about it, but I said you think about it for a day or two. You watch it back, you try and learn from it, and you move on very quickly. Because if you spend too long thinking about it, then you just don't. You don't. It's not good for you.
During that golden period for Kerfin, were you able to take some sort of pride when you see what they obviously went on and did?
Not really, no, because it's hard. Like like obviously that team Curve In had was phenomenal. Like and what they did was will it be seen again? I don't think so. But yeah, we pushed them, but pushing them wasn't the plan. The plan was to beat them, so we didn't beat them. So it was yeah, we didn't take any pride in it at all. Fair play to them, but for us, we only look at ourselves. We weren't good enough, and that's the bottom line.
You always are two clubs that bring the best out in each other.
I think so, because I think we're two clubs that go at each other. I think a lot of teams, when they play Curfin, sit off them and they're bet before they go out on the pitch. I think it could happen to Dromore this year. I think with Curfin, you give them respect, but you have to trust your full back line and go at them 15 and 15. I think if you do that, you have a right chance with any team, not just them. But if you set off Curfin, if you let Curfin play football in your half, you're in big trouble because they'll open you up. The plan is to play football in their half. And if you can do that, keep them there, then you have some chance. But that's why I think us and Corofin have some really good games over the years.
Yeah, I definitely think they've been some of the best games probably throughout the last decade, really.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause both teams just go at it. I think, especially in 19, that was a cracking game. Like, both teams just really went at it, and yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Playing for Tuam Stars then, Jamie, what does it mean? Because you can even see when you get to county finals and having them in Tuam Stadium, how special those moments are.
To play in one in Tuam Stadiums, you can see the town. Tuam and Corofin play each other in the county fair. You can see the town is buzzing. Like, it's not just the Tuam people; the Corofin people look forward to it as well. Everyone else does. But it is like the town really gets behind it. It is a football in town. Has great history and great tradition in Galway football. Um, so it is. It's massive to play for Tuam. I've been so lucky to play for as long as I've played. I didn't think I would get this far, but I have, and I've been very lucky to play with the group of players I've been playing with too. So yeah, I've been lucky.
Obviously, you said earlier on you started off in 2002, 22 years. What does that feel like when someone says, yeah, you've been playing for 22 years?
You don't. They go fast. They go very fast. They do. You don't think of it. Remember, first year we lost semi-final to Kildare. Thought we should have won it. We had a right good team back then, like with Jan, John Donlan, Tommy Carton, young Shane Moore. We had a lot of really good talent. Um, yeah, they don't. They go really fast, and so I'm trying to tell our young lads coming through. When you get to them semi-finals, finals, you have to try and make them count. 'Cause, the years go by so quick. It's amazing how fast they go.
This particular group, you mentioned earlier on when obviously Gary retired, but even this year, at the start of the year, to have Shay, Brian, and even Rory O'Connor too with Galway at the start of the year,
Mhm.
that must be great progression as well for the club.
Oh, it's massive. We've Dara Heenan in there at the minute. Dara got a run against Mayo there recently. His brother Connor I think, was going to get asked in, but he's in Madrid in college. So, and they said we forward the under 20s, so it's massive. Like, if Brian was fit, he'd be in there again. If Rory O'Connor was, I think 5 or 6 years younger, I think he should have gone in there 5 or 6 years ago, but that wasn't to be. But like we do have some really good players, and I suppose we're lucky too that this year now we won't have anyone in with the seniors. I'd say, unless Dara Heenan and Porrick. Porrick's look for something like Dara has. So we'll have full strength training with us, and we'll be competitive. Then hopefully that stands us long term in the year.
That can nearly stand to you in one sense, kind of like if you take Mike Cullen for an example, this year, in previous years, I think it was around 22, 23. Maybe they had
Mm.
seven. This
Yeah.
year, they only really had Sean Kelly, and it's obviously you want as many players as you can play in with Galway, but to have, I suppose, as much of your playing group all year round, it is a massive benefit.
Oh, it is. It is. Like, I remember it was 3 years ago, we had Brian and Cormac in there, and they were on the fringes. Really, they weren't getting much. They came back to us, and they were way a good bit off it because they weren't getting game time with Galway. And while Galway got to the All Ireland that year, it was brilliant for them to. But when they come back to us, it nearly took them to the third round of the championship to find their feet again. This year now, hopefully, like when it kicks off, that us having our team together, that we should be well set up come the latter stages. We can also monitor players if players are getting knocked. When someone's in a goal and they're getting knocked, it's very hard for them to. It's very difficult for them to. They're under pressure to keep training. As for club, if Brian gets a knock on his knee, then he can afford to take a week off. He's in with county, he can't afford that week. So yeah, it's nice.
Just on this year, how important do you think that league title was as a stepping stone?
It's something we set out at the start of the year, so it was to win it. Um, I know a lot of people don't see the league as being very important, but for us, just to get over the line was important, especially for the younger lads. For myself and Gary, it was the older lads and Noel and Dara and them. Uh, it was nice to win it, but for the younger lads, you could see what it brought to them. Bit of belief, brought them energy. and it brought them a lot of confidence too.
And having Dave obviously and Michael Eland this year, you've obviously talked about their influence, but you're obviously delighted as players to have them again.
Oh, yeah, super. They're brilliant. Any club would love to have them. And to be honest, I was unsure if Mike was going to come back to us. I thought an intercounty setup would be good after Mike. I think he's that good. And obviously Morris Brosnan as well, to have him around is Morris is in with Intercounty. He's watching sport constantly, so to have his influence around us is brilliant. All of them. And we've Niall Quinn, local lad as well, who's learning a lot from Dave and Mike. So yeah, it's brilliant to have them all with us.
What is it that they're bringing?
Um, they're bringing Mike brought energy. They brought a lot of freshness from Clare, new face, brought a lot of energy, brought a lot of new drills. He's a very good coach, very good speaker. Dave brings like super analysis. He spends a lot of time uh, doing stuff off outside of football. He's a great lad. He's like I couldn't I'm delighted to hear when he came back for his third year. And Morris knowledges of analysis and stuff has been, as I said, it's intercounty stuff. It's probably too good for club, but it's absolutely brilliant. The three of them, the way they work together, like, and as a club, we're so happy to have them.
You ready to go again for 26?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. As I said, I'll go back and Jeff Feb and give it another crack. Like, so that's the plan. Yeah, and we'll see. I think everyone is going back. Gary's committed. Hopefully, Conor Doherty will commit, and yeah, if we get everyone back, we won't be far off it again.
Did you have to think about it at all?
No. Last year when we finished, I think myself and Gary were more or less done and dusted, and I suppose after a while you thought how close we were and you saw the talent coming through and you thought, you know what, if we can go back, give it another crack, we did. This year, no, it's actually, this year was the first year my wife said to me, you have to go back. Every other year she was like, you're done now, that's it now, you've given up. But I think, you know, uh, when she saw how close we were, and I know how close I am, and I did enjoy this year, I really did. Um, I thought the freshness Mike brought, Dave and Morris, like it's hard to walk away when the setup is so good. Like we're all learning from them, and as I said, the young lads coming through, it's a freshness. So if we get, you know, a good bounce of the ball, and if I stay injury free, then yeah, no, it'll be another good decision to go back.
Is it special as well? I know you've mentioned Gary a few times, Noel Henry, Darragh O'Rourke. These fellas you've probably nearly soldiered with now for almost a decade.
Ah, it is, yeah. That's what I was saying. Is you build a respect for people. Um, and we're very lucky in the club that we don't have, you know, we don't have any baggage really. I think that comes down to those older lads that have built the culture and they've pulled people on stuff that was going on outside of football. And it's a respect for each other that, and we talk to each other. And it's tough because we're getting older now. Young lads are coming through and they want to be playing. The older lads still want to be playing. So it's a tough one for the management to balance because it's a problem with our club that good players that have played Galway 20 still aren't breaking into our senior team because the older lads are still holding their own. And Dave is trying to break that balance of how does he keep everyone happy? He's got 30 good players. It's not like in 19 when Tommy Carton was over us. Tommy didn't have that to his point, you know. His team was nearly picked every week. It picked itself, but now Dave has a battle on his hands of how does he fit all this in. The experience of the older lads, the new blood coming in, and there's not much between anyone really. You could, if four people sat down to pick our team, they'd all pick a different team probably.
I know a couple of years ago, Jamie, you would have mixed the playing with sort of a player selector role. Is the coaching something that interests you?
Yeah, I did that under with Kevin Reedy. He was a player coach, and that was a disaster for me. I wouldn't do that again. But It's oh, definitely. I will go into coaching at some stage. I think it's when my kids are a bit older, probably I'll definitely go into coach. Whether it be managing or training or trainer, I don't. But I'll definitely do see myself going down that road.
When you're not playing clubs, does it come then to watching football with the coach's hat on?
Oh, it does, yeah. Actually, when I'm playing now, as you get older, the older players will be the same. You're playing with a coach's head too. You know, you're watching around and you're watching our lads getting tired around you and thinking maybe he should be taken off. Or this sub should be come in here now. Now's the time for him to come in, or if midfield isn't going well, and change that around. So as you get older, that coach's head is on you. But when you're watching it, definitely, yeah, you're seeing. I just love watching other teams playing and how they play and the setup and stuff. So yeah, it is definitely.
I know you would have caught up there the weekend gone by for your Galway under 21 reunion. And you obviously would have played minor 21s and senior for a while too. Your time with Galway, how do you sum it up?
Uh not great to be honest. I didn't. Obviously, the minors is fine. Under 21, obviously, was very lucky to be on part of that to win the All Ireland with a serious team. And then obviously, I was in Sligo for 4 years. I was very lucky to be part of a very good Sigerson team. Thought I played really good football down there. Just didn't get the rub of the green with Galway. And then I was at the time too. I was working away, so I was constantly traveling. So that didn't suit. If I gave that up and committed to Galway, I don't know, but nobody ever sat down with me and said, if you commit to this, we'll give you this opportunity and stuff. So I never saw myself. It was never something I grew up to do. Was to play senior for Galway. I know other people talk about it a lot. So yeah, I was lucky to be part of the under 21 that won the All Ireland. That minor team should have won the All Ireland too. If right was right, it was a serious team. Most of those minors under 21 went on to play for Galway seniors and had good careers with Galway. So yeah, I don't look back at it as good or bad, but definitely Saturday night was good crack. Anyways, meeting up with all the lads.
It was a difficult time around that time too, wasn't it? Trying to break into a
Yeah,
Galway team, just with the way results and everything were.
they were under pressure. We were talking about that as well, actually. How you know come out of college away, so 9, 10. They were Joe Kernan was brought down from Armagh to coach them. Whether that was a good decision or not, I don't know. Then Alan Mulholland came in time, and to fair, Alan had me on the panel, but I just couldn't commit to work. Now, whether I was going to make the team or not, I'd break in, I don't know. But I was just working a lot. And I was, to be honest, the standard tune it was offering as well was, it wasn't, I was going home playing tiddlywinks with tune. We were trying to win something, so it worked out that way for me.
Was the calls after that with managers after Alan Mulholland's time?
Was it which? No, I don't think so. No, no. To be honest, no. Was Liam Salmon after Mulholland?
He would have been before.
He was
Um,
before it, yeah.
yeah.
No, I think after Mulholland. To be honest, I can't. I don't know. More than likely, no. I don't think there was. But I never showed any interest in going in, and not that I would gone in anyways and play it. I was
Mm.
very happy to play at club, and I was very lucky to play for as long as I could.
Was there a time you closed the door on it, or was it always something
No,
that?
I never closed the door on it, but I was committed to work, traveling. If I was
Mm.
working local, it might have been a different story. But I just, I used to leave my house Sunday night, get home on a Wednesday or Thursday. Couldn't commit, if I packed it in. If a manager sat down with me and said, okay, listen, we're going to work this way, you know, um, and we're going to give you a shot here, maybe I would have packed in work and tried to get work closer to home. But I suppose I never had that conversation with anyone, so I don't know.
Is that playing for the Galway seniors? Is it something you think about a bit? That
No, I see. I never. Back then too, I was playing in the back, so I was cornerback, wing back. When I was playing with Galway, a few couple FPD runs, playing cornerback, togged. Like under Joe Kernan, I thought I played really well. I know it's only FPD, but my point was I played really well. Come league, you're dropped. And I was like, you should have played me. I spoke to him after the third. I sat in the bench for 3 games. We went down to my own Castlebar and they absolutely hockeyed us. And then we went up to Monaghan, they hockeyed us. And then we got a result in the third game. I didn't get anything. And I spoke to him and I said, I did well. And he said, no, you're going well. And I said, it's not for me. I'm not going to sit. We're number 26 for this year. And that's what I hope FPD now this year is. If Porrick is his game and they do well, you have to throw them into league to see can they play. I don't like this. We're just going to use them FPD and then forget about him. If some lad's playing well, give him a chance in league. And then if he doesn't go well, you can say, you got your chance. Tough luck. Someone else is in. So that was my plan.
That's one of the hardest things about it, isn't it? As you say there, when you play FBD, you feel like you're going really well. You're hoping for your chance in the league. You don't get it, and then sometimes you don't always get the reason of why you're not getting in there.
Yeah, like I've had that conversation with Joe that time, and he didn't give me a straight answer either. I asked him straight out. I thought I played well. I had 4 good years in Sligo playing Sigerson, and I thought at least I was due a couple of league games just to see could I play at that level. Didn't get them, and I wasn't that type of person that was going to be happy, making up numbers with Galway when I could have been helping Tuam in training and developing the young lads and pushing training down there. So the call came in and I made the call to join us. That was 2010. And that was it. I never really looked. Obviously, Alan then brought me in, Holland, and I trained well and he put me on the squad and then just work commitments. I just couldn't commit. Whether or not I would have made it with him or not, I don't know.
You can obviously look back though, even from the weekend gone by, fondness of that minor and 21's time.
Oh, you could do, yeah, yeah, you could, yeah. But to be fair, that minor on 21 team was a serious team. Like, I'd say most of them went on to play Galway senior for a long time. Sure, obviously, when you'd Mike Meehan at that age, all you do was put the ball into him, he was going to score. So, you'd Dana DeLevy, Niall Coleman, Alan Burke, Gary Sice, Malahi, Niall Coyne, Sean Armstrong. You could just go on. Like, all these lads were top quality players. So, we were very lucky to be playing with them.
Yeah, it was. I'd say it's one of the largest, I suppose, teams or panels from the amount they've got from that to progress on and play senior for their county.
They should have, yeah, yeah. And to be fair, a lot of them did step up to it. They did, and then obviously Knox, obviously Mike got injured, and Damien Levy picked up Knox, and but they did. They got good time out of Adam Burton, Gary Sice, Finian Hanley was another one. Finian was full back for us, so they got good service out of a lot of those lads. To be fair, Galway did, and they're good lads. To be fair, there's no like, the crack Saturday night now was it was worth it. It was worth the hangover Sunday.
When did the move from cornerback actually start from 11?
So I always played five. That was where I
Yeah.
played minor, and I played 4 years in Sligo at five, and then we were just stuck for cornerbacks, and I got thrown back there with club, and then I went with Galway and played cornerback, did okay, and then Alan Flynn came in, and we were stuck for a full forward, and he said, "Listen, you're just going in full forward just to win ball and slip it." So I did that for a year, and then we were stuck for a centre forward. So in club, you kind of go where you're asked, and that was it. Once I got to the forwards, once I got out of corner back, I did everything I could not to go back there.
It's probably helped you, has it, playing in all those different positions throughout your
Ah,
career?
it has like played midfield for club too for a long time, not as a fielder as a runner. So it does, and what it does do too, it keeps you fresh. If you're playing the same position for years, and you could get a bit stale. But if you're chopping around, and it does help, obviously I played in the full back line now, in the full forward line or centre forward. I understand how they play and how they want to play. So I have that link, but yeah, I know it has definitely helped a good bit.
In terms of the new rules coming in, Jamie, then, and the split season, obviously, which it's a fair change, the structure of the season now to when you started out in 2002. Do you think, obviously, the new rules and the structure of the club season are working at the minute?
Ah, definitely. Like the game there was, I think the only mistake that they made was they left it so long. It was terrible for people going watching the game. It was terrible to play in the game, and it was terrible to coach. That kind of, there was nobody winning. It's just they left it so long. But now the game it's different. It's way faster. You know, the solo and go for me is the best rule I've ever brought in. Just completely speeds up the game. And to be fair, the refs in Galway have adapted so well to it. You know, they have to be applauded for it. So yeah, the split season is brilliant because lads now can book. You know, the to be fair, the calendar comes out start of the year. You can book your holidays, book your weekends away, book your stags, or book whatever. And to be fair, this year when the even from league to championship, nothing changed. Like it was just so nobody has an excuse now. As for when we started, it was a disaster when you think of it. Like you your first round in May, and if you might get the second round in June, and then you shut up shop and you come back then after. So you had to peak for May, come back down, and then peak later on. So it was, and you
Yeah,
didn't
I
know
even
when you were
remember
out.
a couple of years ago, that April club month, you'd have a game and then
Yeah.
it was madness.
Oh, and then the league if you ran out till I remember playing league finals in December,
Yeah.
scraping lads, trying to get lads to come train in November. You knocked out a championship months ago. You're trying to get lads, but it's far better now. Just lads can plan their weekends. And to be fair, you got to give the county board to the way they just plan. They're your league dates, lads. You're playing. You're not calling it off. If you want to call it off, ring the other team and see do they agree to it. If they don't, then they get the points, and we're just moving on. It's brilliant.
That clarity is obviously superb. When you hear different people maybe coming out talking about maybe pushing out the intercounty season more, is it something you'd like to say as it is at the minute, just keeping it as it is?
Obviously, you would, but you got to feel for the intercounty players. Like the volume of games, it's far easier being a club. Like it's probably I do feel sorry for them. Like they're peaking constantly all year, and then they're expected to come back and peak for club. As for the club players, we just have to peak, get through the league, get through the summer, peak for August. You're an intercounty player, you have to peak for February for the league because you have to be playing well. If you're not playing well, the standard is so high, you won't be making the cut. So their season is so long. But it is like the pitches are getting a bit better, all right. But it's a tough one to call. So it is.
Just Jamie, for the Galway senior footballers in 2026, obviously disappointing year last year, no point in saying otherwise, losing that game to Meath. Where do you feel Galway are?
I think oh, I have a really good team. I do. Look at Thompson and you look at their forwards. Midfield were very big. Darcy and Maher. You throw in young Walsh. I was very impressed with him this year with Callalan. Shea Midlinski for us is phenomenal talent. I think we are. It's like Liam Silk's talent. Like you go through all the backs. So I think Gaul were an interesting place. Damien Comer didn't play anything this year, obviously with Anna down. What's he going to
Yeah,
offer? Can he offer anything next year for Galway? What's Shane Welch going to be like? There's a lot of different buts, but if Galway can click and get all those guys right at the right time, they'd be dangerous. But I think Andy Moran is going to pull something with Mayo. He's going to pull everything back. They'll play with him. Obviously, Colin Boyle has gone out with him. Paul Durkin's gone out with him. It'll be an interesting one to see how Connacht goes first for Galway. Like, um, because I think Mayo are definitely going to target something there. But go on.
does it feel like we need to freshen it up this year a bit?
This thing for the FPD, like you put guys out in the FPD. If they can't play, if they don't stand out in FPD, then there's no option playing league, so you can go okay. But if a lad goes into FPD and he plays really well, just say a club player from Caltra or Killallen or wherever, you have to give him a chance in league. You have to stick by him because if we go out and we put out the same league team we put out last year, now I know it's a very difficult league to go have, and they're going to be under pressure from the start. But if we don't find new blood, you're going back to the same old, and there's no pressure being put on these lads then either. I think there is good talent in Galway football, but as I said, let's obviously I know they're tipping away with a couple of challenges, FBD, but if some lad does play well there, you have to give him game time in the league, and not just 5 minutes or one. You have to give him game and give him one or two, and then because we do need new blood coming in championship, just to freshen it and to also keep lads on their toes. I think, but Pádraig knows more than that than I know anyway. So, but I do think I'd like to see some new blood coming into it this year.
It is the thing too because you don't know in FPD are they going to be on a development team,
Yeah.
or is it going to be the senior teams? I was just thinking, like looking at the fixtures, I think it's Leitrim in London, and it already sort of team seems like that could be the development team again, considering it's Mayo in the first round of the league.
Yeah, but can he bring out, like I said to you, young Welsh, I was so impressed with him against us in Athenry. You know, young Shea for us, can he get game time? And there's so much. There's done more of a couple of lads in there that I think are fine players.
Yeah, I was watching Shane McGrath last week in the league final between UL and University of Galway.
Mm,
Kicked 5 points and
yeah.
two unbelievable 2 pointers.
Why not? Why not play these lads? Like they can play. Like we all see. When you see these with club players, they can play. Throw them into a league game and see can they play at that level. And if they can, why not? They'll freshen it up. They'll be hungry. Hunger is a hard thing to get, you know.
Yeah, it does feel like 2026. Maybe we are slightly back in the pack now, considering, I suppose, last year on everyone's mind the target was in All Ireland, and maybe it felt like we could go one better after coming up short the previous year against Armagh. But maybe this year we are back at the pack, and we're going to have to, I suppose, chase Kerry and these teams down.
I mean, you still have a full forward line now. Like if the Sawtill boys click, I still think Matthew Tierney is a fantastic player. Anytime I was talking about Matthew Saturday night with the lads, and I rate that lad so highly. But sometimes when I see him at Galway, he just goes in and out of the games, and I often wonder why. Because I think he is such a talent, and he's such like when Galway are struggling come league or early championship and kick out, they go and he catches it later in the stage of the challenge and championship. He seems to drift out of it, and I'm wondering is his position or what's wrong with the lad. But there's players like that in Galway that are like Galway have the players, no doubt, but it's a matter of getting it out of them on the big day. I think Galway can compete. Definitely at the top. If find one or two new players in the league this year, there's no doubt like they can compete.
Do you feel like there's a pressure this year?
Ah, the lads in Galway,
Well, just
possibly.
even Galway as like I suppose their targets for the year now.
If I was in there, I think the first target for Galway would be to win Connacht again
Mm.
and get that under the belt and play really. They have a really tough league campaign. Can they get back into another league final again? Just to have the lads playing at a high level. You know, they haven't a bad run in Connacht either. Like in the
Yeah.
Connacht draw, so they can afford to get to a league final. It's not as if they're going to be out the following week. So if they got there and played a high level game going into it, I think that's what I would be targeting. Would be a very good league campaign, win Connacht and reset the button, and then go for the All Ireland Championship. They shouldn't be thinking of the All Ireland straight away. It's small steps. 'Cause I think there might be a kick in the all this year with Andy in his new coach. So interesting to see how that one will go with them.
Yeah, particularly with the early training camp,
Yeah.
it already seems like they're focused for next year. Um, Before we finish, Jamie, just a couple of quick fire questions for you. What's your standout moment throughout your career on a football pitch?
Um, just, I don't know. Probably '05 was a very good year for me. Um, I won at Sigerson, I won at under 21, and I won at obviously the league colleges. So we won three All Irelands in about 2 months that year. It was a good year for us. And then obviously just been lucky enough to play for Tuam for so long. Has been a really good one.
Who's the best player you've played with?
Oh jeez. I don't like this one because you're going to make one lad happy and upset about 1,000. So, there's been a lot. Like in Sligo, I played with a lot of really good talented lads. Andy Moore and Carl Lacey, Keith Higgins, Paul Durkin, um, obviously Mike Me and Galway was phenomenal. Ja, I was lucky enough to play with Ja, like, but I got the end of Ja. He's after getting two knees done. I'd love to have played with him in his prime. Like, saw some of the stuff he could do. Probably to play with, yeah, obviously Mike Meehan or Ja, like either of them could turn a game, you know. But I'd love to have got a chance with Ja in his prime. I played with Mike in his prime. He was phenomenal. He was a freak of talent. What he could do, either of those.
Who was your toughest opponent then throughout your career?
Uh, Toughest one to mark. Marked Mike. He was tough because you couldn't give him an inch, and he was both very powerful. He was just a powerhouse. As a defender, I thought Liam Silk was very good. I remember I marked him first time in a row. I think it was 2015. I didn't know him. Wasn't long until I got to know him. He's just a very good defender. He's very fast. He's very intelligent, and he's very very strong. There's no crap with him. There's no lip with him. There's no pulling or dragging. There's none of that. He's just a really good footballer. And since then, 15, 16, that we've had a lot of encounters. And I suppose going out marking him, you knew you had to be on your A game because if you dropped the ball once, he had it and he was gone.
What's the most underrated skill do you feel in Gaelic football?
Um, I think to get the tackle right, is a big one, especially the way the game has gone now. Because if you can create a turnover from a tackle, it's going to be a score on the far side. And I was listening to someone the other day, it was actually Morris, and he was on about the tackle is so undefined in GEA in football. It's basically up to the ref what he decides. And if you can get good at that, like we've one or two young lads coming through that spent a long time. I knew their coach spent tackling with them hand on. And you can see it when they come to senior, they just have it. They can just knock the ball away from people. And like I said, if you can it's probably not worked on enough properly. But if you can create turnover, the chances are you're going to get a shot off the far side, which is impressive.
Just finally then, Jamie, you can obviously name a few here for this one, but who are some of the best managers do you feel you've worked under?
Oh, jeez. I'm not going to say anyone here. I'm going to name them all. There have been some really good ones. Like I was lucky enough to work under like my earlier years, say 2002. You know, like my uncle, I was involved with the Galway 21s. My uncle Pete then used to bring with seniors under John O'Mahony. So him, he was one. Like then we had Alan Flynn, who was this unbelievable coach who changed the whole of Tuam Stars. Tommy Carton was a different kind of a coach. They were all so different. Ja was a different kind of a coach. Pat O'Neill, obviously Peter Ford with Galway. Obviously Dave is a different coach. And I think what I've been doing that is just taking bits from them all. None of them have been the same, which is great for me. And they've all had their good bits, and they all have bits then that you kind of go, I wouldn't do that. That's not me, but that's him. They all have different bits, and if you can pull something from each of them, then I think you're learning, and you might be a good coach yourself.
Great stuff, Jamie. Well, thanks very much for your time this evening.
No, well, cheers. Thanks, Paul. Thanks.